Good morning and welcome to my first YouTube channel, Pop's Reclamation Station. I'll be working on a number of different diecast and other things, but I'm going to introduce you to what I was doing and some of the projects I've done, and you'll see that in the next little bit of video. Right now I'm up in the office and I'm just giving you a heads up. But I do want to do some shout outs, excuse me, to some people that inspired me over this past little year, with all of us being shut in and stuff like that. So first of all, I want to thank Martin Dares out of the UK for his inspiration and like his candor and his ingenuity with doing diecast, and also Bob Willis of Corgi Restorations. Marty's Matchbox makeovers in Australia. Marty, we miss you right now. I know you've been in the moving business at the moment and trying to get all settled into a new place and stuff like that. Also, some of the other people that have inspired me with their 1/64 scale is Danny's Diecast Disasters and Matchbox Resurrections and Somo Diecast. Some of these guys are doing awesome stuff with smaller scale than what I like to work with. These big mitts of mine don't necessarily do well on a smaller project. So anyway, that's it for right now. You're going to get to see some of the projects that I've done already, because I've been doing stuff for about 5 years. And I hope you enjoy my channel, and you would hit the subscribe button and hit the like button and share it with some friends. I've got some interesting projects coming up that will challenge me and hopefully excite you guys. So all for now, and carry on. Pop's Reclamation Station. Thank you. Hey, my name is Lawrence. I'm hoping to start a channel soon. This is my little work area. It's not very big at the moment. It's only maybe 16 inches deep. In the spring, I hope to move down the wall a little bit. This is because I'm in my basement. And I'm going to do a desktop that I have in the garage, which is a little deeper, and fix it up that way. But today I'm just going to talk to you about some of my builds that I've done. So we're going to stop the video for the moment, and I'm going to move the camera over and we'll go from there. I think we're running. Alright, so as I was saying, we're going to look at some of the builds that I've done in the past, and probably started everything about 3, 4, maybe even 5 years ago. This is one of the very first ones that I did. This is a London toy, and it's probably something from the 50s. And they have cardboard wheels, and hopefully I'm not blocking the light too bad. And I did this, stripped it down, and I did it in this classic blue. And one of my first paint jobs of using flat gray rather than chrome. That's that one. Then we have a larger London toy. The castings on these were pretty rough, and also stripped it. And oh, by the way, the stripping that I used, I've been using oven cleaner, and it seemed to have been doing the job for me. And this is a Master Deluxe 5-passenger coupe, and London toys. These were made in Canada, and that would be out of the 50s as well. And I didn't take the wheels off or anything, because these parts here are very delicate, very delicate. So that was one of my early ones, and then followed by another London toy, which was a police car, and it was very bad paint job on it. It was rough, and I took it and I made it into a military car, made the decals myself, put them on, and it has a bit of clockwork in there, but it was not working, so I didn't bother with it. I didn't bother trying to fix it, just left it. And that's how that one turned out. Then there was a number of other builds that I did. And this was one of the first dinkies that I did. This one being a Riley, number 40A from 1947, and basically just brushed off the bottom, and it didn't do a very good job on the underside paint, but I chose this nice turquoise blue, and I like customizing. I'm not a purist. So that was that Riley, and then there was another Riley I did in this candy apple green, and this one turned out much better on the bottom. Got a lot better paint job out of it. And these ones I would have just masked everything off and did it that way. And I didn't, from the beginning I didn't learn about doing a nice job on the casting. I watched some of you guys have cleaned up the castings pretty well and done that really nice. And I'm learning as I go along. And this is Austin Somerset 161. And again, same thing. I didn't take it apart. I just masked it off and did it in this dark blue. And I think it came out very nice. And the casting was pretty good on this. The paint was rough, but the casting wasn't bad. Some of the early dinkies were a little rougher around the edges. And here's a Singer Gazelle, number 168, same thing. And this is my first time of masking and doing a two-tone, and it came up fairly decently. I didn't take it apart and clean up the windows really the way I could have, and it still can be done. But that's that one. And then we have a taxi as well, did in a classic blue, and I painted the base on this one, sprayed it and did that. Normally when I'm doing all my cars, I usually do a gray primer. And this is one I didn't realize, this Rover 75, that it was called the Cyclops until Martin Dares had done one and showing that it was a 3 light in the front. And this one I did in a kind of a dark, nice burgundy color, and did the detailing on that. And I think it turned out pretty well too. So then we went to try really some different classic colors and went to some custom paint using a nice purple metal flake and the turquoise top on this Hudson Sedan, and just cleaned up the bottom. And I haven't tapped the rivets yet on this one and done it. I only did the one end, just to get in the back tires because of the fender skirts on that. And I think it turned out pretty nice. I did the front like that. Then I was showing Martin, I had sent him some pictures, and he really liked the way the yellow come out on this one. So I took a medium artillery tractor and did everything in the primer gray, and left the base primer and left the wheels in a primer gray. And then I did a two-tone yellow, a little bit deeper and a bright yellow. Made this into a shell exploration vehicle. And then I did some of the highlighting of it. And this one has the driver, and I put a number 101. I'm doing a series on the shell trucks, and you'll see more of that hopefully in the future. And this is another one I did. This is the coal truck, Bedford, and I did a more subtle combination of two-tone yellow, and I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's a very, very little difference. I've got to come up with an idea for the top, and these are some of the decals I made. I haven't put them on yet. I have all of this work ahead of me, and I've kind of changed my shop down here around a little bit, and I'm adding some other tables, and then, as I said, in the spring I'm going to set up a new table, a new bench to work at, and have a better paint setup too. And here's a Terex truck I did in deep blue, which was actually the Blahnock's heavy tractor. Originally, where it was in orange or in this dark blue, and I like the dark blue. And it came out. I have the decals. I haven't put the decals on yet. Just a few finishing items to do on some of these yet. And this one I took all apart and sprayed all the pieces, and I did the crank and the lift for the crank in the flat gray and left it that way, and detailed the front and that did the tires in white. And I have the Blahnock's tractor upstairs, which I did in the dark blue and white wheels. And more recently was the Ford Sedan, and I haven't gotten to the point of doing the lacquer on them. I just learned that from you guys, from watching you guys spray paint them and do the lacquer, and also doing the windshields in floor polish, which was something I never knew before. So I'm learning as I go along. And here we have a recent one I did in this nice copper color with the beige interior. And I suppose I could have done the black steering wheel, but I liked it in the beige for now. And then I've got to figure out how to fix my windshield yet. I'm going to cross that bridge when I get to it. And this one I just polished the base as well. And I was watching a video on how somebody had repaired the front bumpers on that using brass or styrene, which I haven't been able to get at the hobby shop right now because they don't have any. So same with this one. I did this in the classic green and gray, and again missing the windshield. A lot of them got windshields broken. Just polished up the bottom, new tires. Everything I have, pretty much I put new tires on because I was buying and I was selling tires as well. And here's another medium tractor, artillery tractor that I did in camo. Now I may consider doing this a little better job. Apparently, you're not supposed to have any straight lines in the camo paint because you don't see any straight lines, basically, they say, in nature. So that one I may do some changes on it because I'm doing some other ones in camo, such as the artillery tractor here, and I'm going to have to do some touching up on those ones. This one I repainted the bottom as well and did the windows, cleaned them up as best I could. And that's how that one turned out. And then we have the bus here, observation coach, which was done, and again I never took it apart. I just masked everything and painted it and did a nice blue on it. And it's a little tricky to do these lines really nice, so I haven't got that far yet on that one. And I remember watching Martin do one of these not too long ago. It was the London bus. And this one I did take apart and I had to do some repair on the front here. It was broken. And I didn't do the fender. I watched somebody do a fender and gluing and using baking powder, which I just had found out about doing that this year as well. So, and it needs decals, which I don't have at the moment. It's hard to get anything out of the UK right now with the COVID thing. And so I have this other one that I did, this Oldsmobile, and trying to do the masking around the fenders As you can see, all the bleeding went through. Very, very hard to do. I think I'm just going to do that in a solid color and not fart around with it until I get better at doing that. And again, this one wasn't one that I took apart. Wasn't necessary. And the casting on that has been pretty nice. The paint was pretty rough on this one. And we'll get that one done soon as well. And then there's the Humber Hawk police car, which I did take apart. And the windshield was in bad shape. It had a crack in the front and a crack in the back. I just tried to glue it to hold it together. And of course it doesn't clean up very nice. And that one we'll figure out if we're going to make my own windshield or not. And I don't have to make decals for this one too. So that's an upcoming finishing. All these little pieces that need to be finished off. And I have an SO tanker here that's going to need a complete overhaul and paint job. And this is the Foden. And the tank didn't have any ends on it. And I have an idea of how to fix that. And I'm going to work on that. The ladder's pretty decent shape and stuff. Just needs to be removed and painted stuff. And that's an upcoming project as well. And my paint shop is closed right now until I get